Hey, and welcome back to the Misty Morrison podcast. I'm your host, Misty Morrison, and this is episode 21 of Was I in the Wrong? Before we hop into our stories, just a reminder to engage with the content, whether you are on podcast and you leave a review, or you are on socials and you leave a comment, or the same on YouTube, like, share, comment. Any engagement helps the channel grow. So today we have our first story coming to us from r/AITA_WIBTA_public. AITA for not siding with my husband after my daughter started giving him the silent treatment over a paternity test. Initial reaction based on the title, I don't know because it depends on, I think, your daughter's age to see like how immature the silent treatment is, and also more background info on what's going on in the story. So let's see. Throwaway so this isn't connected to my main account. My daughter, 16, is about 16 weeks pregnant. The father is her 19-year-old boyfriend, who she's been with for 2 years. I wasn't on board with the relationship at first because of the age gap. She was just turning 14, he was already 17. It didn't sit right with me, but my husband, her stepdad, talked me into it. He's been friends with the boyfriend's family forever and kept saying how he was a respectful kid from a good home and that we'd just be stirring up unnecessary problems if we got in the way. I let it go, but I'm starting to really regret that now. So a couple months ago, she comes to us and says she's pregnant. I was shocked, yeah, but I tried to stay calm. I told her we'd figure it out. My husband, though, immediately questioned if the baby was even the boyfriend's. Didn't even hide it. He just launched right into accusing her of lying. His reasoning was that they couldn't have done anything. That would have been illegal, and my daughter's boyfriend is not stupid enough to risk that, and his parents raised him better than that. Okay. When I pressed my husband by asking about what if they really did have sex, he simply replied, even if they did do it, he knows that her boyfriend would have used a condom because he's responsible. Y'all got your husband has a lot of faith in this kid. And zero faith in your daughter, evidently. Oh. My daughter obviously denied and cried doing so, but he wouldn't let up. Told her if she didn't agree to a paternity test, he wasn't going to support her at all. That turned into a massive fight between us. I said he was being cold and cruel, and he said I was letting her manipulate me. We argued constantly for weeks. He kept acting like I was betraying him by not siding with him, but I was just trying to protect my kid. We had to wait until my daughter was further into her pregnancy until we could actually do the test, and it was a very dark time for my daughter. She completely shut down, barely left her room, only seemed to eat for the baby, barely spoke. I caught her crying so many times and once overheard her telling her boyfriend maybe she should give the baby up for adoption because no one believes in me anyway. That wrecked me. Meanwhile, I've been doing everything I can to show her I do believe her. I've been taking her to appointments, checking in on her constantly, just trying to be steady even when I don't have all the answers. I know I haven't been, but I've made sure she knows she's not alone. Her boyfriend and his family have been supportive the whole time. No drama, no accusations. They said if the baby's his, they'd help with everything. And the boyfriend made it clear he wants to be involved and happily cooperated with the test. The test results finally came back, and yep, the baby's the boyfriend's, just like she said from the beginning. Duh. She didn't yell, didn't rub it in my husband's face, she just went quiet. And ever since, she's been completely distant with my husband. Bare minimum conversations, avoids him whenever she can. He says she's being disrespectful. I think she's just done trying. And then she asked me, actually begged me to let her stay with her dad, my ex, for a while. She was crying, saying she felt like she didn't belong in this house anymore and that she needed space. That one hurt, but I said yes. Her dad and his girlfriend have been amazing about it, honestly. They didn't hesitate. They told her she's always welcome, that they'll help her however they can. They've gone out of their way to make her feel safe and wanted. I can't really be mad about her wanting to go over there right now. It's what she needs. Now my husband's mad at me, says I'm letting her treat him like garbage and that I failed him as a partner by not backing him up. We got into it again. He said I've been undermining him for months. I told him that maybe if he hadn't treated her like a liar from day one, she wouldn't be shutting him out now. That maybe he should try being a father instead of a prosecutor. He didn't like that. So now he's sulking, and I'm tired. AITA? No, OP, you are not the asshole. You truly have just been protecting your kid from day one. And your husband's like, she's being disrespectful. You were disrespectful, husband, when you called your stepdaughter a hoe. You're like, there is no way possible. You had so much more faith in that boyfriend that, he knows based on the age difference, which 2 years is not an age gap, but he knows based on the age difference that it's illegal, so he obviously wouldn't do anything with his girlfriend, who he's been with for years, for like 2 years. That's dumb. Like, that is dumb for him to think that. And, he's so responsible. He was raised right. He would have used a condom. So this whole time, he's praising this other boy who did exactly what he said he didn't do. The boyfriend did exactly what the husband said he wouldn't have done because he was raised right. Every step of the way, he has called your daughter, his stepdaughter, a liar. He has accused her of cheating on her boyfriend. He has said that she wasn't raised right. He has said that she was too dumb to use protection. It takes two. Your daughter did not make this baby by herself, and I am so proud of the boyfriend and his family for stepping up and being there from day one. So proud of them. And proud of you for supporting your daughter, even supporting her in leaving your home because you knew it was what she needed. I really don't like your husband. And it sounds like he is a control freak. Like, he talked you into the relationship at first. And now he's saying that by taking your daughter's side, you're undermining him. I don't understand where his mind is. I don't understand. He can go on and keep sulking. Your daughter is completely right to be done trying. I don't blame her. It doesn't really sound like she's not giving him silent treatment. You said they were having bare minimum conversations. She was still talking to him when it was absolutely necessary, but she's not going to choose to talk to someone who has treated her so badly and accused her of really horrible things. Like, he didn't say it all out loud, but by his actions and by the things that he said, yeah, he accused her of things that are not in her character. And also, like, to make her go through such a length of time until she was far enough along to get the paternity test, to basically force a paternity test on her, when she knew the whole time who her baby's father was, he should be ashamed of himself. I really, really don't like him. I don't care that he's mad. He treated her like garbage first. He did. And I don't see why he doesn't understand that he deserves that in return. You give what you get. And he gave her shit. So, OP, you are right. You are not the asshole. I really don't know how you and your husband get past this, because it doesn't really seem like he wants to get past it. It seems like he wants you to bend. But I mean, I agree with you. You finally gave him the hard truth. He was not being a father. He was being a prosecutor. And he doesn't like that she is now treating him like he acted. She's treating him like a prosecutor and not like a father because he wasn't supportive to her like a father should have been. So I don't think she's being disrespectful. I think she's right to be done with him. And I'm glad that she still had the power within herself to ask for what she needed to go move in with her dad. Whew, that was a rough one to get started. All right, story number 2 is coming to us from r/Am I the Jerk? Am I the jerk for scolding my sister about her cheating? I, male 18, scolded my sister, female 17, for cheating on her boyfriend. I recently found out because I heard them arguing on the phone in her room. I asked her what was wrong when I heard silence after an hour or so, and she clearly looked frustrated. I kept bugging her about it because I was worried, and she told me that she cheated on her boyfriend and she didn't give me much details. I kind of started to scold her, and I don't know if that was the brightest idea because she just started to get frustrated with me more and more as I scolded her. She was raising her voice at me sometimes and hitting her head on her wall, saying she doesn't care and that she'd rather hit her head with a brick than listen to me. I didn't actually think she'd do it and that she was being petty, so I said, go ahead and do it. She went to the backyard and I followed her. And she actually did it. She picked up a brick from our backyard and hit her head with it 2 times. I didn't think she would be actually dumb enough to even do it. She didn't do it too hard, but I'm taking her to the doctor's on Thursday just to be sure she's all right. I said, what are you doing? She started to get frustrated and say, wow, so you don't care? I told her, you did that to yourself. I was just trying to tell you about the situation and have you gain more awareness on it. I didn't think you'd go crazy. She stormed back into her room and locked the door. I don't know if I'm going crazy or not. I might have scolded her a little hard, so maybe that's why she's acting like that. I wanted to give her more awareness to situations like these because she's always been the spoiled brat. She gets out of things easily when she's in trouble or tries to. She always tries to hurt herself whenever she's in trouble as well, so the other person can feel bad when she's in the wrong. I don't know what to do right now. Am I the jerk? Ugh. So this one's a mess. You're her older brother by 1 year. You don't have the right to scold her. Like, you asked her if she was okay. She told you what happened. She told you why she wasn't okay. And knowing she was frustrated, cheating is wrong. Just to start with, cheating is wrong. We do not condone that here. But you chose to take on a parental role and expected it to go over okay with a 17-year-old. That was never going to go over okay. Does she need to understand that cheating is wrong? Yes. Did she create this problem herself? Yes. Was it your place to scold her? No. If you disagreed with her actions, as you should, when you asked her, hey, are you okay? And bugged her to tell you what was going on, she's never going to open up and tell you anything again. So, like, your choices were either, you just be supportive in a way of saying, oh, like, it sucks that that's the situation you're in. Like, I'm sorry that you're going through a hard time, without condoning her actions. Or, just tell her, I don't agree with that. Like, you can tell her, you created the situation, I don't agree with your actions, and walk away. You didn't have the right to scold her about it. That is her parents' job. And maybe her parents have royally failed her up to this point, but it's still not your responsibility to take on. She's, especially at 17, 18, she's never going to receive that information well from you. So you are the jerk because you stepped into a role that wasn't yours. But ultimately, I'm going to call this situation a mess because you both were wrong. Story number 3 is coming to us from r/AITAH. AITA for telling my mother-in-law she's not allowed to have a key to our house, even though my husband gave her one behind my back. Initial reaction, no. It sounds like your husband's the asshole for going against what he knew you wanted, or it sounds like he knew you wanted. So let's read the details. So my mother-in-law, 60s, is very involved in our lives. My husband, 34 male, is an only child, and she treats our marriage like she's part of it. This is where it goes downhill immediately. She stops by unannounced, critiques how I cook. You don't season chicken like that in our family. And once even reorganized my pantry while I was out running errands because she thought it was chaotic. She even called me undomesticated a couple times. Immediately, this sounds like an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond. Anyway, a few weeks ago, I found out, completely by accident, that she has a key to our house. I was venting to a friend and she said, wait, I thought you gave her a key. I didn't. Turns out my husband made a copy and gave it to her, just in case. And didn't tell me because he knew I'd be upset. Which I was. I asked him to take the key back, and he said I was overreacting and that she's just trying to help. Last week, I came home early from work, and she was already in our house, folding my laundry and making herself tea. She said, "Oh, I noticed your laundry was piling up because you're unorganized. So I figured I'd lend a hand." She even admitted to trying on my clothes that my husband bought me and said I didn't need materialistic things and hinted at the fact that I was a gold digger. Bitch, you gotta go. I completely lost it. I told her she's not welcome to enter our house without asking me first, and that she needs to give back the key immediately. She cried, called me ungrateful, and said I was pushing her out of her son's life. Now my husband is furious at me for humiliating her and making a big deal out of nothing. But I feel like boundaries were crossed, and not by me. AITA for not wanting my mother-in-law to have a key to our home. OP, you are not the asshole. You are right. Boundaries have been crossed, and I know from the story, it sounds like you have expressed to your husband that you don't want her there all the time, but you can't say boundaries have been crossed if you didn't lay those down with mother-in-law. So, have you told her before this that you don't want her coming over without any notice first? Because if you haven't said that out loud, she doesn't know that she crossed a boundary. Like, evidently her and her son have always been very close, and this seems like normal behavior to her. So if you have not laid out the boundary for her, made it very clear, outright, you are not welcome here without advance notice. You are not welcome here while we are gone. We do not want you organizing anything. You do not need to lend a hand with the laundry. That is not something that we want. If you haven't said it out loud, how is she supposed to know? And not saying she's right. She has overstepped at every step of the way. But clearly, you married a mama's boy. You married someone who is exceptionally close to his mother. And there's not inherently something wrong with that. But there's just something wrong with that when she cannot accept that you are his person now. You are his primary person, his number one. And, once people get married, the parents are number two until there's kids. And then the parents are number three. As your children get older, you get a step further away with every new relationship that they bring in, new lasting, permanent relationship that they bring into their life. They created their own family when they got married. Yeah. It really sounds like she doesn't like you. I mean, she's called you a gold digger. She's called you undomesticated. She doesn't like you. Whether or not it's actually about you and her or just that you took her son from her is kind of neither here nor there. Your husband is definitely an asshole in the story because he knew you'd be upset and he did it anyway and he hid it from you. So he's as wrong as mother-in-law is here. My only advice for you is to change the locks and maybe get a biometric lock, one of the ones with like a fingerprint scanner, so that he can't don't give him a copy of the key, just program his fingerprint so that he cannot then create a copy of the key and give to her. And, maybe he can't figure out how to add his mom's fingerprint to it so she can get in. I would say like one with a keypad to punch a code into, but then he would just tell her what his code is. That might be your best option to keep her out if you can't get your husband on your side to just not give her a copy of a new key if you just simply change the locks. I don't like this because now it seems like you're not just fighting against your mother-in-law, you're fighting against your mother-in-law and your husband, and that should not be the case at all. It seems like not only do you need to reaffirm the boundaries with mother-in-law very clearly, you also need to reaffirm them with your husband and make clear what you will and won't tolerate. Because it's very sketchy to me that he was so easily willing to do something regarding your shared home that he knew would upset you, and he doesn't feel bad for it. All right. For story number 3, OP, you are not the asshole. You're right. The situation possibly just could have been handled better. Story number 4 is coming to us from r/Am I the Asshole? AITA for saying no to my dad living with me. My 38 female, dad, 56 male, suffers from alcohol addiction. He has for about 17 years now. A few years ago, I drove an 8-hour turn and burn, 16 hours total, to go get my dad to come live with me, my teenage daughter, and my boyfriend at the time. He had his own room. I made him meals, but I wouldn't take him to get beer or liquor. He would convince my boyfriend to take him every few days, though. After about a month, he had one of his sisters buy him a bus ticket to go back to his home city. I couldn't force him to stay, so I had to let him go. I have 4 siblings total, two older brothers, a younger sister, and a younger half-sister. My dad had her after our mom died. I'm the only one that has moved away, and they all live in the same vicinity, with my half-sister being a few hours away in college. Over the past few years, my dad has been in and out of the hospital for seizures, dehydration, etc. Now everyone wants to make a plan for him with somewhere else to stay. In January, I got married, not the same guy. I have an almost 17-year-old daughter and am 8 months pregnant with my second child. I'm exhausted most days, and both my husband and I have full-time careers. As much as I love my dad, I don't have the mental capacity to be taking care of an addict, especially now that my daughter is out of school for the summer. I don't want to leave her alone to take care of it either. I have been the main one he calls and talks to because for a while no one else liked answering his phone calls. You do have to have the right mindset to talk to an alcoholic, but through therapy I was able to forgive and understand who I was dealing with. My siblings, not so much. But I've always been seen as the go-to and the responsible one. Every time something was up with my dad, people would call me first instead of my older siblings. But now I'm exhausted from that, and I want to focus on my family and my baby. So AITA for not wanting him to come live with me? No. You are right. You are not the asshole. You tried it before. You gave him that opportunity, and he chose to leave. Are you going to uproot your life like with a newborn baby in a month for him to come live with you, like change everything in your household? Like your whole household dynamic changes when a parent moves in. Are you willing to go through that just for him to stay for a couple of months and decide he wants to go back? And if he likes that vicinity so much, why doesn't anybody else take him in and let him stay with them? Or maybe collectively, like between 5 siblings, pull some finances to get him set up in his own place? Has he been to rehab? There are other options. You're not the only option. You are the default option. And you don't have to be. You have every right to say no. And as soon as you say no, you are forcing them to figure something else out. You're not leaving him abandoned. He has 4 other kids who live closer to him than you. You've been responsible long enough. He is your parent. You are his child. He's not your responsibility to take care of. That sounds harsh, and if you wanted to, that would be one thing. But when you are writing this story saying that you don't feel like you have the capacity, you already know it's not going to work. And there's no reason why some of the other siblings, or maybe his sisters, there's no reason why no one else can help him except you. And I think you choosing to step away and saying no is the only thing that's going to force them to come up with other solutions and stop relying on you. So you're not the asshole. You are right. You've tried it before. He chose to leave. Take care of your family, your needs. He can figure it out, and so can the rest of them. All right, that is 4 stories for this week's episode of Was I in the Wrong? That is us done for the day. Thank you for coming along for the ride, and I will see you next time. Bye.